Welcome to the Samuel Leeds podcast. I'm here with Rafal Pikul. We're going to be discussing Gary Vaynerchuk, YouTube, work ethic. I think you're going to get a lot of golden nuggets, so stay tuned until the very end. Good to have you with me.
Hey Samuel, thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Dude, we've been talking about doing a podcast together forever.
Yes, almost forever.
So I think one of the reasons I wanted you on the show was because you've massively helped with our business. You're just an awesome person, a lot of knowledge. You've worked with great people before, like Gary Vaynerchuk, and didn't you work at Warren Buffett's event?
Yeah, I did some social media content for one of his companies, Berkshire Hathaway.
Fantastic. So it's great, really good to have you on the show. Tell me what you have tattooed on your arm.
Oh my God, we'll make it public. Not many people have seen it, but maybe
exclusive content.
Exclusive.
What does it say on your arm?
If viewers can see it, it says "Work harder."
That's great. Work harder.
Yeah.
Why did you get that tattooed on your arm?
Why? Why did it? As a reminder, because I obviously was aware of that, and I was aware of that, as a thought in my mind or as a written to-do item on my to-do list, whether it's on a phone or a piece of paper, but things like that, we either lost them or, when we make some sort of resolutions or we think about, like when we make a mistake and then things go okay for a while, then we do the similar mistakes again. So I thought this is really important to me. So I want to have it, and the best way to have it almost forever is to tattoo it.
Yeah.
Why I put these words? Because I believe this is the only thing that we can control. Because just over the years, when just living the life, running the business, but just living the life, I found out that there are so many things in the world that we cannot control, like politics, like weather, like others people opinions.
Yeah.
What we can control is the amount of work we put into whatever we do.
Yeah.
And it could be work in a business sense, but it could be as well the rest and taking care of family. So if we work harder on anything that we want, I believe this is the way to do it.
Do you remember when we first met? Because I called you out on that. Do you remember when I said, when you're an old man with your grandkids all around, and you're enjoying time with family, and you've worked hard, and now you've got properties all over the world and people working for you and everything, are you really going to want to look at your arm and it say work harder? And you actually said yes, because even if I'm working hard on building relationships with my family and stuff, it doesn't necessarily just mean business.
Exactly.
And I couldn't argue with that.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that we can control, because we can control the number of hours we put into something. So whether it is work, hustle, or if it's leisure, we can work harder on resting. I found out that we don't know as a humanity how to rest. I don't know what you think about that, but we're stressed as humanity, and then we always want to do something. Like in the past, when I had a minute of free time, I was looking either for a phone or a laptop, because I didn't want to stay alone with myself, And over the years, I've learned to do it. But I don't know, did you experience that?
Yeah, you know what? I like to have massages.
Okay.
And I like to have a 90-minute massage, because after about 45 minutes, that's when I really get relaxed. Mm-hmm. And then if after 60 minutes they go, okay, I'm like, oh no, I just entered that period of deep relaxation. So 90-minute massage, I'll completely tune off from the whole world, and then I'll come out at almost like a new person, different pace, different me. So I regularly like to have 90-minute massages.
Have you ever tried an acupuncture?
Is that where they put pins in you?
Yeah, like needles.
I have.
Micro needles.
Only for therapy though, when I broke my knee.
Yeah, I had probably 2,000 sessions like that, and at the beginning is a bit weird.
Dude, my friends always try and get me to have some weird stuff. Like I've got some footballer friends that have, when they put those things and suck blood out of you. I don't do that stuff. Just nice, deep, relaxing massages.
But is that kind of a massage a way for you to possibly deal with stress? The reason I'm asking is because as we are talking today, literally probably less than 24 hours ago, there was an extremely unfortunate thing. One of the NBA legends has died in an accident. Kobe Bryant, unfortunately, with his daughter, and that shows us, like, when I shared this news with my father-in-law, who was sitting next to me, and I saw it on social media first. I was like, do you know this name? He said, yeah, he does. He knew, and he mentioned, he probably has millions or billions, and unfortunately, this thing happened to him. So at the end of the day, we all end up in the same place, depending on what we believe in. But I ask you this question because especially in Western world, Europe, the UK and America, we are stressed because there's so much going on. How do you deal with stress? How do you keep positive?
I mean, it was terrible to hear the news. I found out as well just yesterday, and I actually didn't know him super well. Like, I wasn't a big follower, but my wife Amanda, she was a real big fan, and she actually cried when she read the news, and we're both hoping that it was fake news. And then you Google it, and then and it's a massive tragedy. And I guess you're right. It makes you realise that actually every day, every breath is a gift. And sometimes when you go to work or you're going about your business, and even if you have your own business, it can still almost become like a wheel of, like, almost a rat race. Not a financial rat race, but just an habitual rat race. So I mean, to answer your question, you know what? I only work when I feel like it, but I just feel like it all the time. So if I don't feel like working, I'll genuinely just not go into the office. In fact, even remember last week, and I was really tired, at a really long week, and we had a podcast, and I just messaged her and said, do you mind releasing me from the commitment? Because I didn't feel like coming into the office. I was tired, I was groggy. I wasn't ill, but I just thought I just need just a day to just be at home, recharge. So if I feel like that, then I'll recharge. And in the same way that you have to recharge your phone, you charge your phone. If you don't, it burns out. I think in the same way, although we're really driven to succeed and to grow the business, you do need to take time out.
Exactly. But where do you find the balance between that? Because at this stage, you run a few businesses, and you are financially free. You've got teams working for you. So you can afford that, either for a while or forever. But in most situations, most people cannot. Most people have day jobs or run their own business. So where do you find the balance between relaxing but not being lazy, and then hustle but not not killing yourself with work? Like, I'm sure you thought about that, because maybe going back to to your beginnings, and I wanted to ask you this question. How did you start? Where you firstly appeared online? I know that YouTube is a huge thing for you, but the first 3, 6 months, 12 months, did you have a team of people? Or
no,
exactly.
No, it was just me. Okay, so for me personally, my problem has been never, and is not that I'm lazy. So my problem will be I'll work so hard because I'm so addicted to succeeding, and I love property, and I love this media channel, is that I'll work so hard that I'll neglect every other part of life, like holidays and family. And so for me, if I don't feel like working, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't feel like working. I want to enjoy being with my family. That's weird.
Yeah.
So in terms of what was your question was, what do I do when I relax?
Yeah, and how to find a balance between, and maybe how a person who cannot afford to have a few days off can find this balance, because we are always busy. Maybe, I don't know, do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think when, in the Bible it says God worked 6 days and then rested on the seventh. So, I don't know where we got this 2-day work week from. I think we the lazy people added a second day maybe to do errands. I think work really hard 6 days and then have 1 day off. That should be a general principle for me. And I even tell all the staff that. I don't let the team work on Sundays. We don't run events on Sundays. And even people that are high up in the organisation, directors and stuff, like I won't ever expect anybody to do something on Saturday. On Sunday, because you do need 1 day off a week, I think, and then the rest of the week you can do what you want. Yeah,
I do agree. It's today morning I saw an interesting post on Instagram. Let me just quote it. It was a post by Chase Jarvis. He's entrepreneur, photographer, famous guy. He said, "Rest better, work harder, love more, repeat," which is really interesting. Which is rest better, and I for some reason I just believe in that, not only in resting, but in the mental and the psychological side, and in things like karma. I mean, obviously, what we have in common, one of the things we have in common is marketing and the latest video editing tricks and social media and stuff like that. But I think that this is, my opinion, this is at least the second step. The first should be the mindset, the way why we wake up in the morning, and how to do that. So I just things like karma. I think it's something which is underappreciated in today's world. Like how much attention do you put into when you teach people, when you do seminars or one-to-one on a mindset versus like tactics on how to find a property? What's the balance?
Yeah, great question. I mean, when I'm teaching, I think it has to be a mixture of both, because if I teach people how to find deals and give them all the technical side of things, but without the confidence and the environment to actually do it, then you may as well read a book.
Yeah.
So at our training programs, and you'll know because you've been, what we do is we create an environment where it feels normal to take massive action, and then that way we'll teach. I'll teach something, then I'll do it. And they can watch me do it, and then I'll give opportunity for my students to do it as well. So it's kind of a mixture between doing and learning, and the doing bit is mindset, because they've already got the information. But some people, even though, okay, here's a script, here's an estate agent's phone number, call them up, do it. Okay, I know what to do. I'm not going to do it now, I'll do it when I get home. No.
Yeah.
And then that's when I'll have to give a motivational piece. Look. And then we slip into mindset. So I think PD and BD, personal development, business development, go hand in hand. And I also think, going back to the quote, I think it's a great quote. And if you focus on loving people, then you will sleep well, because you're doing everything from a good place. And sometimes people don't sleep well. I'll give you an example with exercise. If I've got an exercise routine coming up and I've got Marvin's popping over to make me lift weights and do crazy stuff, I could, if I let myself, dread it for hours, because I'm thinking, oh man, in 3 hours he's coming, and I'm thinking about it. But the workout's 45 minutes. I can make it 4 hours and 45 minutes by thinking about it forever, or I can just relax, and then when he comes, then just go do it. And in the same way, I think that with work, like when I'm sleeping, I'm not thinking about work. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to do in these calls. And when I'm sleeping, I'm just sleeping. I get home, I'll go upstairs, I'll chat with my wife, we'll have a dance, we'll watch a movie. I am genuinely just switched off, and then I'm sleeping, and I sleep 8 hours a day, and I don't wake up in between. I always sleep like a baby, and then I wake up, and then I start my day. So I think it's a great quote. If I'm talking to quotes, let me read a quote, because
go on.
I saw something really interesting, which was a quote by Kobe Bryant, and although he's passed on, we all know that his legacy will always remain. I think this just shows he was 41, I think, when he sadly died, achieved so much. He says this, he says, "I have nothing in common with lazy people who blame others for their lack of success. Great things come from hard work and perseverance, no excuses." And I just think that's such a fitting, even on your arm, work harder.
Because we can control that. It's tricky. I mean, I as well experienced that. I think life taught me that. Currently being in my, I still like to say early, but more of a mid 30s. But let's make it early 30s. Yeah. I started my my journey with self development around 10, 15 years ago. I went to do some seminars, went to see Anthony Robbins, and just did some self development training. And I think I've spent probably hundreds of thousands of hours and pounds on that. But what I found later, that it's the life that is the biggest teacher, because and that's probably something similar that you teach when you go and do something, when you experience things, whether it's personal from your family or just people on the street, or whether it's business, it just teaches you, gives you experience, and then you realize what matters.
People say when you learn to drive, when you really learn to drive, is after you pass your test. Right, so you do your theory, and then you might think you know it all, and then you get in the car and you think, whoa, and you actually do it, and you learn, and then you pass your test, and then you really learn. In the same way, I agree. You can read the books, then you attend the seminars and actually do it, but then without the real life experience, you can't replace that. So, but I think that sometimes if you just rely only on that, and you skip the class, you skip the book, then it's going to end up costing you a lot more in mistakes than it would have done in education.
Okay, that's true. It has to go, both ways. That's why, being great today in what we do, in our expertise, whether it's teaching, investing, property, in my case, social media marketing, content marketing. This is kind of a given. We have to be good, great to get somewhere. But then the next level for me is the way and ability to speak to another person. I call it emotional intelligence. I think it's really important. I know we talk quite a bit about that, but that's I think there is not we don't say enough about that. It just
the reason I took got you on, I know you freelance, but brought you in on a big capacity. I mean, you weren't coming in for 3 hours for a week.
No.
You were in the office every day, and you have been. But was not just because of your skill. Very skilled videographer, very skilled marketer. I could see that. But even more importantly than that, it was actually your attitude, your positivity, your leadership skills. Because I knew that would rub off on the whole team. And it has. In fact, you have a tattoo that says work harder. Now Pav, who's filming, Pav, what does your tattoo say?
Do more.
Do more. Come on, it was inspired, right? It was inspired by Raf.
No.
Get out of here. Are you for real?
Yeah, it's not.
It was inspired, come on. It looks the same. It was not
I swear
inspired.
it wasn't.
Did you know about his tattoo?
Yeah, after.
Okay, well, even if it wasn't inspired by which it was, but even if it wasn't,
It's a similar mindset.
Do you know what
possibly.
though? Even just the mindset, like your attitude, has definitely rubbed off on the team. He can pretend it wasn't inspired. I'm pretty sure it was inspired.
It's okay.
But you know what though? Just I think
you.
having good people, it rubs off. And if you have good people in your team, it rubs off on other people. I always say environment is more important than skill. Environment is more important than willpower. Environment's the most important thing, and the way to get a good environment is to get good people around you.
I agree.
And in the same way that a bad apple ruins the bunch, a good apple lifts the rest up. So, and it's been great seeing that, within the team. Because you've brought skills, but you've brought more than that. And I think these guys would agree.
Thank you very much.
Shaking their heads.
I appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the environment, that's possibly one reason, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you brought a personal trainer with you, because I know that you knew about that exercising is important, but for some reason, like many of us, including me, we didn't do it regularly.
Yeah.
Or for a long time, probably zero of that or next to zero. So there is a reason you wanted to have someone to help you, to be next to you, and to do that.
I almost resented getting a personal trainer because I felt like I know what they're going to say. They're going to say exercise more and eat less. Like we all know what to do to live a healthy life and to be fit.
You know what? That reminds me. Sorry for interrupting. Interesting story. We know all what to do. We all have ideas, and you mentioned about bringing me here to your team to help and develop marketing and content marketing. Do you remember how did we first connect online? Do you remember this moment?
I think someone tagged you.
Yes.
I wish. Who was the person?
I will find out. We need to shout the person. I've got a print screen. All right,
we need to definitely shout the person out.
Yeah, we can. But what you are looking for videographers, content creators, to join the team full time, and I replied that to that person. Hey, thank you for tagging me. Unfortunately, I'm not interested at this stage. I'm not looking for a full-time job because I run my agency, but if Samuel is interested in creating some content, getting some value from me, let's talk. And you said, then later you mentioned that you couldn't ignore it because I mentioned like GaryVee and Warren Buffett.
Correct.
And when you said we all have ideas and we all know how to do, but we don't execute, it brought a thought to my mind where I first time met Gary, and I had a T-shirt saying "Ideas are shit."
Right.
And then there's micro letter says like without execution.
Yeah.
Because we all know, but we have plenty of ideas. Like how many times you went to a store, or maybe even in the or your students when they thought about a property and then they saw it, someone else did this deal. So I think it's I
totally agree. I mean, anyone can give you a great idea, but the steps and the implementation of that, and the reason I had to reach, you're right, but that just shows the power of branding. See, a lot of people responded to that quote, that status, and said, I can do freelance, I can do part-time, and I was like, ignore, because I wanted someone full-time, and I did get someone full-time. But then when you messaged, number one, you were courteous, and your message was a sweet message, but then you mentioned, look, I won't be able to do full time, but I'd love to be involved. And I think you researched me as well. You checked me out.
Yes, we had a conversation at this dinner the other day, and I did because I'm, going back to what we talked at the beginning about the time flies, and like we all have one life, and I'm fortunate at this stage of my life to have enough work and to work as an agency with clients that I want and can choose. Yeah. So I really want to spend my time and energy because I believe that like the time is the only thing we have. So the fact that we are sitting here should be valuable to us, to the viewers and listeners, to you and me. Because time flies, we can never get it back. Like, you have kids, I've got a little boy as well, and we should value that. So
in fact, when I messaged you, so I read your message and you said I've worked with Gary Vaynerchuk, Warren Buffett, and I'd love to work with you, Sammy. We wouldn't be able to be full time. I thought, how can I ignore that? So I messaged you on Facebook and said, I think I called you on Facebook, and you said, my wife has just today had a baby. Yeah. Today. I'm sure it was the same day.
Yeah, it must have been like 24 to 48 hours. Don't remember exactly, but I remember.
And I was like, dude, call me back in a few days. Relax, your first kid. And you phoned me back, and then here we are. But I think when we had our first meetup, one of the things that really struck me about you, what I think was just great, was just you took time to understand the business, and you've actually taught me to be a better listener. I used to get a lot of comments on these videos. People used to say, "Oh, you don't listen to people. You always interrupt people." I probably still interrupt people a little bit sometimes, but I don't get those comments so much anymore because I've listened to my viewers. But also, seeing your example, because I remember thinking, Raf's a really, like, we'd go out for dinner and you'd ask me questions and just listen. I'd think, dude, man, this guy, he's got a real gift of communication and be able to listen, and I adapted that. So thanks to you, for on that side of things. Why don't you talk to me a little bit? Because everyone's going to be itching to know about your story of working with Gary Vaynerchuk and how that happened, and also where you come from, and just a little bit about that. So maybe share some inspiration.
Yeah, do you want that 2 minutes or 20?
The 2 minutes. 2 minute version.
Let's make it 3. Is that okay?
Go on, make it 3.
So I kind of started on that already, but believe me or not, Samuel, but it brings me to the time when I was a kid. 8, 10, 12, when I was a baby, a kid, and then a teenager. I saw my parents who are great, who did the best they could, but they were going to day jobs. In most cases, they didn't like it.
This is in Poland, right?
It is in Poland. So yes, I was born in Poland. I moved to the UK around 12, 13 years ago. So I was in Poland. I was raised over there. And I saw my parents struggling with life, like with finances, and saying, my manager or boss said this or that, and I thought, and then this kind of influenced the life as well, because if you're not happy in your business or day work, we are humans. We have one emotion, one heart, brain, and it influences the family and the relationship. So I thought, how can I do it different? How can I do it better so I don't have to complain and struggle as they did? So when I was maybe 15 or 16, I knew that there's something that sits in our head, and then I found out there's something called psychology. So I googled this word. I googled this word online, and I started reading about psychology, about self-development, about NLP, about communication skills. And as I told you before, I went to a lot of different seminars and learned quite a lot. But then obviously the life taught me the real lessons. Fast forwarding 5, 6, 7 years later, I got interested in camera, in taking pictures and videos. I remember our friends like Gosia and Piotr. They got a digital camera, set it to black and white mode, and took a photo, and most photos look much better in black and white. So oh, that's cool. So I bought a camera. I started taking photos, making videos, and long story short, I moved into freelancing. And then I left my day job and started making videos. And then I discovered a person online. His name is Gary Vaynerchuk. Like most of us discovered.
For anyone that doesn't know Gary Vaynerchuk, he's probably the most influential social media person who talks about business marketing and things like that. I would say definitely up there. I think he's got I don't know how many, 6 million YouTube subscribers or something insane.
Yeah, millions on most platforms.
Yeah, so he's massive, and again, I've seen the video you sent to him of yourself.
Yes, pretty much no one. I think 5 people.
But what a great way to get someone's attention. You just picked up a camera, you started learning video skills. I know it might come a bit later, but tell me how that happened.
Exactly. So I like creating videos, and then my day job and my freelancing were kind of 50-50. I said, I cannot do both because one kind of kills the other. So I left the day job and started doing freelancing only.
Big step.
big step mainly here.
Yeah, in your mind.
Because with running your own business, whether it's freelancing many years ago or having a team and being responsible for people like we are now, you in your business, me and mine, it's a big step mentally, 100%. But then I just algorithm showed me Gary Vaynerchuk. I was like, hey, this dude is really interesting because, and you met Gary as well personally because you went, you went to meet
I spent time with him. Yeah,
exactly. So you know him not only from online environment, but from a live environment. And I basically, he was born in Belarus. When he was like a few years old, he moved to States with his family. Then, his father opened a wine business. And when he was teenager, he started to grow it, and then became known online. But he was based in New York. I'm based in London. So I'm thinking, there's no way I can do anything for him. He's a great guy, but I'm in London, New York. He's in New York. I've got a family here and a wife. But then when he opened or announced opening an office in London, I thought, And then my mind went. I like creating content, like making videos. I know where's the attention of people, and I want to work with GaryVee, and he's moving to London. I started thinking, how can I connect these two puzzles?
Yeah.
And then I went to one of his events. He was invited. There's a video online. I think it's been organized by The Drum, like a company called The Drum in East London. And they invited him there. He spoke there. I went there, and long story short, I raised my hand and asked him a question. Hey, I asked him two questions. One was kind of a business / family related. The other one was, hey, Gary, I would love to create some content for you. Want to be your D-Rock in the UK, in Europe, making videos. And he said, hey, Raf, great, but send me an email and let's see what we can do. And I thought, okay, I will do that. But like, Samuel, how many people approach you in person or online? Like, hundreds all the time.
Yeah.
So if you, and as far as I know, you never say like no, but you say send me an email, send me a message, we'll take it from there. You are unable to respond to it on your own.
Yeah.
Gary had the same story, so he just says to everyone, send me a message, send me an email. And I knew that if I send just an email, it may or may not work because thousands of people emailed him. So I got home the same night, and rather than making an email, I'm thinking how to get out of the box, how to make it a bit different. I thought, if I want to do video, let me do a video. So I sat in my living room, put like 3-4 cameras around, microphone light, and that's the video you've seen. I literally spoke to camera for 10-15 minutes, then edited it down to like a 3 minutes CV. And I send it, but what's important, and that probably goes back to my tattoo here, is that I think speed and making things happen is really important in life for everyone, obviously in your business, in mine, because the event with Gary finished around 9-10 p.m. I got home around 11, and like, what can I do? Gary said, yes, send me an email. What do I just say? Hey, Gary, we just met, and I want to do the video for you. That's like, I thought that there is something more that I can do. So I made this video. Long story short, 5 a.m. I finished the video, edited it. I edited in and examples of my work. So after someone sees the 3 minutes piece, they know pretty much everything about me from a business and creator point of view. And my wife woke up around 6 a.m. and I was going to sleep. She was like, oh my God, you're crazy, you're Raf, go to sleep. Long story short, a few days later, I got an email saying, hey, Raf, the work is great. We'd love to work with you. And I was invited to meet Gary, 6 or 7 a.m. at a London hotel, and I spent days with him. And then more video, more content came over. So that's pretty much that's pretty much the story.
That's awesome. And I think speed of implementation, perseverance, putting yourself out there, being unafraid to be rejected, all of these things, what you did resulted in you landing the opportunity. And you also set up something similar in our company, which is the hashtag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to work for Samuel Leeds, because I was getting lots of people, and you set this hashtag up, and now we've actually, I think we took Adam on from the hashtag.
Yes, Adam, new.
And
Paf, one of the videographers behind the camera, Paf.
Wow. Yeah. So if anyone's watching this thinking, how can I approach GaryVee? Maybe go to his event, do something. But if you want to work within our company, put something crazy out there, show your skills, and put the hashtag I want to work for Samuel Leeds, and we'll see it.
Correct.
And if it's great, well, someone will be in touch.
Exactly, and exactly, the listeners and viewers, if you want to work for Samuel Leeds, great. But if the listeners and viewers want to do something for a celebrity, someone that's known online, the people need to get their attention.
Yeah.
Because this way, the reason I came up with this, strategy of I want to work for Samuel Leeds is that someone or creator, in order to be involved or be interviewed, has to create something which is which means that the person would put work in the first place. Like how many people would say, no, there's no way I will create something because I don't know what will happen next.
Yeah.
And those people are already rejected.
That's a poor mentality.
Yeah.
The rich people always think in terms of serve first, add value first, money follows. Whereas poor people are, I want the money. It doesn't work like that. That's not how it works in business. Like you give free consultations, you write free books, I put on free crash courses, I have free, and then you know that the follow-up, good karma is going to happen. So in fact, even Amelia, she landed a career here. I saw her video. She put a video up. So putting yourself out there, doing podcasts. You have a podcast.
Yeah.
I have a podcast. Having a podcast is putting yourself out there, doing videos is a smart thing.
Exactly, and it's a part of strategy. So that kind of brings me to another question. Obviously, you've created so much content over the years, but and it's funny because I'm just currently will be publishing, and maybe when people listen to this video, they will be live now. But basically. My new agency website will be based on 3 pillars: strategy, production, and distribution. The reason I'm saying that is because a lot of people think that it's only about creating content. But if we don't know what's the reason behind it, we cannot get as big results.
Yeah.
So let's talk for a second about the strategy. Why years ago did you start on YouTube? Why do you think that talking to the camera is the right way to go? Why did you start there?
Do you know what? I'll tell you how it happened. So I started, I actually set up a business networking group called Training Kings. And I was running, business network meetings and sessions. People also asking me about property. And I ran a couple of small workshops, handing business cards out, if I was packaging, selling deals. So I grew a little list, and I had a CRM system, which was actually a free CRM system called MailChimp, which is a place where you put all your emails on, and then you can send like a newsletter. And I had this set up, and I thought, well, if I'm going to be sending a newsletter, I need to put something in it of value.
Yeah. So
I could either do a blog, but then I'm going to have to type something up, and I thought it's going to be quicker if I do a video. So what I did was when I was viewing houses, I'd just get my phone out, I'd do a little video. Hey, what's up? This is for the people that are on my list, and I wanted to just show you what I'm up to. I'm viewing this house, and I'd just document what I was doing and then send it out as a newsletter. But once I'd done it, once I'd filmed it, I needed to upload it somewhere in order to send them a link, and I just uploaded it on YouTube. What started freaking me out was after about 6 months of doing these videos and sending them to my list, I probably had about 800 or 900 people on my list. And I started thinking, my videos are sometimes getting like 3,000 views. How can I be getting more views than the people on my list? Holy moly, people are finding me organically from YouTube. Light bulb moment. That was when I thought, well, actually, these YouTube videos aren't for my existing audience. They're actually also going to be growing a new audience. So I started, kind of committing to doing YouTube videos more regularly. Started doing 1 a week. 1 a week went to 3 a week, which went to 5 a week, which went to 1 a day. And the first couple of years, I was just doing it on my phone. And then I hired Nick. When me and Russell formed only a couple of years ago. Nick was working for Russell as a videographer. So Nick came across, which was for me like a real relief. And then Nick decided he wanted some teammates. And we took on more videographers, and it just grew, and that's how it started. But
that's where your strategy came in. Like you wanted to send value, give value to your newsletter subscribers. There was a reason for that. That's why strategy, content production, and then distribution. Obviously, content production is we could speak for it's it's afternoon now. We can speak till midnight. But content production, distribution. You do like to speak to the camera. What advice could you give as a creator to someone that wants to start doing that? Because a lot of people currently we have fancy microphones, couple of cameras, lights. But what do you how do you start? We are in 2020. If you were to start today with content production, what would you do, Samuel?
I would just do it on my phone. In fact, I did. I had interviews like this with people in rooms like this, where I just got my phone and I put it on a box, and it was just about in a position where you could see both of us, one angle, press record, talk for half an hour, publish it to YouTube. Was the recording good? No. Was the sound good? No. Lighting? No. Content? Yes. Yeah. People just gritted their teeth and watched it for the content. Didn't enjoy the sound quality, but they'd watch it. But that's how I started. Yeah. So, and also the biggest problem people have that want to be influencers and get started marketing and putting videos out is being a perfectionist. Mm-hmm. Because ultimately you're going to get better as you go. Yeah. It's never going to be a 10 out of 10 video on the first time around. But if you do the video, what most people do is they shoot a video and they go, nah, it's no good. They shoot it again, they shoot it again, they shoot it again. And then they put the 9th video out. But in that time, you could have just done 9 videos.
Exactly. Done is better than perfect, correct?
Done is better than perfect.
Agree.
Bang on.
I've got one or two more questions. I'm a kind of a geek and a techie head as well.
Yeah.
And we know where today's attentions of people are. It's here. It's on our mobiles. And mobiles do have apps. It's a question I ask when I interview people on my podcast or just friends. What are the 3 top apps you use on your phone? If you were to open and look at it, even you can go to settings and usage. There is I'm just interested in people may be interested in what Samuel Leeds using on his phone.
Okay, YouTube.
Yeah, that's not a surprise.
Safari.
Okay.
And WhatsApp.
Okay. Is it based on the stats, or you think it's
just the top 3 that I have at the bottom?
I was going to ask that. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's interesting. One last question I like to ask people: What's a purchase that you made over the last six months of £100 or less that influenced you a lot or you enjoy? So something small that you bought that you like, maybe you give it to someone as a gift. Does something come to your mind?
Oh man, I had a gift actually. I had a mug from Amelia, and it said on it, "If you were everybody's cup of tea, you may as well be a mug." And I don't know how much the mug cost, but I thought it was a really nice little gift. So, and I'd say that was probably something that brought a smile on my face the last few months.
Oh wow, nice. What's new in Samuel's Leeds Wars in 2020? What's coming?
What's coming? Big deals. So rather than buying lots and lots and lots of small houses, I've decided that I'm going to scale up and do bigger deals. I'll be documenting that. Finishing the castle renovations in 2020, which is just going to be fabulous. And a lot more people becoming financially free. Last year, 111 people became financially free, and you're just going to be getting ridiculous success story after success story all throughout 2020. I might even publish a book with all of these people.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. Hey, dude, I appreciate you coming on the show, man, and I appreciate all the hard work you've done over the last sort of 6 months or so.
Thank you very much.
Respect, you're an awesome human being.
Cheers. The same. Thank you, Samuel.